How come it's not showing anything? There it is. What's going on, everybody? Figured I'd go ahead and come on since it doesn't seem like anybody's out there right now. Welcome to Devil Dog underscore 88. Let's have that conversation. Where's Nancy Guthrie? What is your opinions? Anybody? Don't forget, click like and subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. So, what do you think about the caller that called Sleuth Intuition a couple days ago and is claiming that that perp in front of Nancy Guthrie's house is actually his brother? What's going on, Paige? You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Gail said he's crazy. He's definitely not, doesn't seem like he's playing with the full deck, no doubt. Celtic Pet says hi. How are you doing, Celtic Pet? Good to have you. Gene, I think it would be hard to fake it. Yeah, I agree. It just doesn't seem logical, in all honesty. It doesn't seem, it seems like it's very logical, excuse me. It seems very logical that it is, it very well could be literally, it could be something where, I mean, we've heard it before that they've talked about it being, some people were talking about it could be a satanic cult, so we do know that that has come around the forefront. It's not like that's all new news. How you doing, Gail? That would be one heck of a made up story, right? I mean, the details that he gave were just, I mean, honestly, they were very, they were there, they were convincing to me. And, I was trying to listen to like his whole persona, listen to the way he was communicating, with Sleuth Intuition. I was trying to, and to him to make that up the way he was talking, I mean, he could do the same script and it would never be the same, right? I mean, it sounded very truthful to me. To me, not saying that it's legit. We'll know more tonight if you're able to stay up late. We'll know more tonight as to where this is all going. But there was that one person that did come out and said that they called Michael Michael Nolet, and they asked him about it, and he said that his brother was crazy and that he'd like to clear the air. Yeah, no doubt about it, Gene. It just doesn't happen like that. I mean, it's hard to fake something like that. And you could tell he was nervous. You could tell he was worried. You could tell all those things. Paige, I promoted this channel on AJ's channel earlier. Thank you so much, Paige. Gene, he said, could be his family. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where you ask the question, well, at what point is one of these things that are coming out is going to actually be legit, right? They can't all be coincidence. Everybody and their mother can't have a coincidence. Once again, it's like, oh, well, like I was hearing some some streamers earlier yesterday, should I say, not earlier, yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know how they would have got the body up there. I don't know how they would have, went through the mountains." Well, you don't know, and I don't know. But if these people are legit and they've been doing this for many, 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 many decades, uh, I think they have a pattern down. I think they know what the hell they're doing. If it's legit, we don't know that it's legit, but I think they would know, right? I mean, for any one of us to think, well, we couldn't climb that mountain, or we couldn't drive up there and then take Nancy to the middle of the lake and do everything. I mean, some of these things that I was hearing was like these people had, like, they've never seen something like this, or they never heard of something like this being done, you know? And I'm telling you, there's always ways, especially when you've been doing it so long, you know how to cover your ass. You know how to go ahead and get things done, literally. So kudos to Sleuth, because he was trying to get a lot of information out of him on that first interview that he had with him. Or, I say interview, he really didn't expect it. Caught him off guard as well. But he did a good job just trying to get, give us some more solid details, give us some more, and then when he finally started saying, yeah, he said, where she's buried. I mean, look, he knows that if you go there and you look and you don't find nothing, his story's already done, right? Think about that for a minute. If they was to literally rake that lake, okay, Rose Canyon Lake, if they were able to literally rake it, and what I mean by rake it is go in there, send the divers in and do their searching. He knows if he's lying, they're going to know that there's nothing there. Then his whole story in a matter of a day is crumbled. It's gone. His attention that he was seeking is no longer there. So why would he give a specific place for them to check, knowing that in one day, if the FBI and or Pima County Sheriff's Office went in there and checked and they found out that there was nothing there, you follow me? Why would he do that? He wouldn't have said that. He wouldn't have gave a location. If he's trying to gain attention, what, he's going to seek attention for one day? Seriously? But the more they don't go in and check this lake out, the more you're going to hear this constantly coming up. And at some point, they're making that story bigger. You follow me? Let me go back and read some of these. For any of you new in here, our conversation is about Sleuth Intuition Stream with a gentleman who called him and said his family could have offed Nancy, claims she's in Rose Lake. I mean, guys, think about that for a minute, though. If he wasn't telling the truth, or in his mind, it wasn't the truth, and he was just seeking attention, okay? Think about it. He was just seeking attention. How long is he going to get that attention? If they went in there and they looked at it, how long is he going to get that attention? 1, maybe 2 days? And then it's all gone, right? It's all gone because they're either going to say there's something here or there's not something here. But then everything he has said, everything he has talked about becomes a moot point, right? It's just common sense. Why would you give a specific location if you honestly didn't believe that she was there? You follow me? It makes no sense that people are going to think, oh, well, he's probably just lying. Really? For what? For a day worth of attention? You got to read between the lines in some of this stuff, everybody. MJM, he said he was afraid for his life also. No doubt about it. And you could hear it in his voice. He was worried. He was concerned. Matter of fact, in the cipher he was talking about, literally, he said he is one of those people. There's two more people that are on the list that haven't been unalived. And he's one of them. So why would he say that? Whiskey says, if he blamed it on me, I would be an FBI clearing my name. No doubt. No doubt. Now, I will say, in all fairness, the one sleuth that actually called Michael, okay, who called Michael his brother that Richard was accusing, that he was the perp, she said that he denied it. But I didn't, like you said early, Whiskey, I don't see him making any comments, or I haven't heard anybody saying, yeah, he's contacted the FBI, he's contacted Pima County Sheriff's Office. He's basically saying, this ain't me. Right? Fact of the matter, he's probably still in California, Napa Valley. Hit like and subscribe if you are new to the channel, everybody. Although Richard is mental, I still want to investigate his. Absolutely. You would be crazy not to investigate it. Like I said, sometimes when stuff like this comes out and you don't do the simplest thing of literally looking into it, it starts to grow legs. And the legs start to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. All because no one did anything. They didn't even try to go down there, send a diving team down there to see if just maybe, this guy's mental state literally is telling somebody what he knows. I'm worried about the four others he's speaking of, no doubt. You know, the idea that he is going to make a bold claim like that, it would be one thing if he said, well, I really don't want to talk about where she's at. I don't want to say where Nancy, the victim, is at because, I really don't know how this is going to play out. That's one thing. Then you could say, okay, well, then he's probably full of you know what, because he's not wanting to commit to anything. But from day one to say, yes, she is there, folks, all it takes is one day. Go down there, send some divers, see if it's legit. And if it's not legit, he's out of the picture, right? He's gone. His conversation, his anything he says means nothing. He's not credible, means nothing, and we move on. But until then, what is everybody doing? Holding their breath. Is FBI going to go down there? Is Pima County Sheriff's Office going to send anybody down there? I mean, I thought about that later when we got off today, and I thought, why would he give a specific spot? Knowing very damn well, once it's checked, if he's lying, he goes back to being irrelevant. Correct? He goes back to being irrelevant. But if his story is true, guess what? Yeah, that man very well could be telling the truth, in my opinion. He could be. This guy is trying to figure it out. He claims it takes forever. Gene, I couldn't. MJM, I think he said Nancy's name was on site. He did. He did say Nancy's name was in the cipher. He absolutely did, MJM. Most people do not believe Richard from my observation. Yeah, Paige, and that's the whole thing. It makes no sense. And what do they got to believe in then? It was about numbers within the cipher, absolutely. Gail, I hope they send divers there. What if? What if? Well said, Gail. Well said. G says tonight, watch the rest of the Sleuth Intuition tonight with the caller at 9 Western Time, 10 o'clock Central, and of course, we from Ohio is the 11 o'clock Eastern. Whiskey, don't worry about the cipher. Just search the lake. The truth is in the lake. Absolutely. It's like Sleuth said that one time. He said, it's either confirmed or it's not confirmed. Either we check it and it's nothing burger or it's a big ass hamburger, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And here's the other thing, everybody. What else do we got to go on? The Path is in the house. Could you identify someone under a mask that you have not seen in decades? I don't know. I don't know that answer, Path. What I would say is that if anybody's going to know, it's probably going to be his brother. I mean, I could tell you when a family member is walking down the street to my house, I can tell you who it is because of their way they walk, the way their body structure is. I can almost guess exactly who it is, what family member it is, right? Because you grow up with them. You know them. You know every characteristic about them. So with saying that, all you got to do is ask yourself, my God, does he look like he could be the guy? And the way he talked, the way Richard Jr. talked, he was pretty convinced it was him. But I appreciate that question. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to stay up and watch it, to be honest. Absolutely, Paige. Paige says, I think I would recognize my brother after many years. Absolutely. Mask or no mask. Because you're looking at everything about him, his movements. I mean, as Richard Jr. said, they used to box, they used to mess around. He can see that walk. And then he gives the specific. He was in a car accident. You know, maybe we need to go in there and look up. Maybe we need to go in there and look up Mike and find out if he's been in an accident. You follow me? Maybe that's what we need to do is someone we need. I should have done this. I didn't think about it until now. Maybe someone needs to go up and literally try to find information on this Mike and see if he has been in an accident. When did it happen? You follow what I'm saying? Because the reality is that he gave specific issues that he had with his hand.
What's his name?
Mike Nolet? Nolet. Nolette. So I think that would be something you could look up, right? May get lucky. Never know. The caller said he was forced to fight with the porch guy as a kid. He did say that, Gene. Absolutely. Paige says, I'm only stating opinions here. Nothing wrong with that, Paige. Whiskey, I won't be up that late, but I will be waiting for Double Dog in the AM to give me the details. Amen, Whiskey. And that you can count on, my friend. Gene says, I agree, Lisa. The past says this is all bogus. Well, it's bogus until it's either confirmed or not confirmed, right? Right, Path? It's either bogus if it's confirmed that it's bogus, but until someone confirms that it's bogus, you could say that about everything, right? See, here's the thing. You gotta have, as an investigator, you gotta have an open mind, everybody. How many times you heard me tell you that? When you're investigating cases, you gotta have an open mind. You got to be able to look, not everything's gonna be right here. You wanna look right here because this is where everything happens, right? And then if you can't find it right here, then you start expanding. Then you start using your outside the box type of information. So if you can't even do that, how in the hell are you going to solve anything? Because not everything's going to be handed it to you. Not everything's going to be, oh yeah, here you go. It's right in front of us. No, it may not be literally where you can see it. Remember what I used to say and what I always say? It's not always what you see, it's what you don't see. Lisa Pay says all opinions welcome, just be respectful. Gene says yes, no let. Gene, everyone's opinion is welcome. And as Paige said, just be respectful to everybody. Because that's one thing we can say about this channel. Everybody has literally the right to have that opinion. Soaring Energy says, Didi, what does your LE experience tell you about the validity of Richard's claims? Sleuth says it's all checks out as facts. I heard him say that. For me, Energy, you know what it is? For me is you have to follow the lead because you don't have anything to follow right now. And until you can disprove it. Now, if we were saying we're going to have to go to, you know, Egypt, dig out a temple, pull out a body, and that's where she's at, I can understand how that sounds really ridiculous, right? But we're not saying that. We're saying all you need to do is go 30 miles approximately to a lake, put some divers in there, and confirm either it's legit or it's not. That's doable. That is very doable. See, you're not asking people to go above and beyond. You're just asking them to check something that makes sense, right? If this person says this is who it is, doesn't mean that he's right, but it does mean that you can validate that pretty damn quick. That's what it says. Soaring Energy says, does your intuition say he sounds like he's telling the truth? Look, I think there's only two things that can be, right? He may be telling the truth because in his mind he believes it's true. Or it really is true. So my take is, as an investigator, I'm going to check that lead. It's not going to be that difficult to check, right? It's pretty damn simple. So my gut feeling is telling me we've been waiting for all of these things. Do I still think that some of the people that I thought literally were involved are still involved? Yes, I do. I really do. I still haven't dropped my 3 persons of interest. Okay? That hasn't changed. But just because someone gives you something that your average Joe would think is, it's impossible. that doesn't mean it's impossible, guys. Yes, to answer your question, Soaring Energy, I think that the way he conveyed the information, the way he went ahead and stated everything, I wouldn't think that he would be lying. I think he'd be probably telling the truth. But here's how I would literally answer that. Go check it, right? Piedmont County Sheriff's Office, Nanos, get a dive team in there. FBI, get a dive team in there and check it. And then we'll know for a fact, right? It's that simple. Because once again, why would he give you the exact place of where her body was taken if he knew that his claim to fame or his need for attention is only going to last a day or two and then it's done? Because they're going to either say, you're lying, you know what the hell you're talking about, and no one's going to give him the time of day, right? It's just that simple. It really is that simple. Song, appreciate the question though, Soren, appreciate it. Song says, that's what I'm think. He believes it's true, whether or not it's true, we don't know. That's a fact. That's a fact, Song. No doubt about it. That's exactly it right there. The whole point of investigating cases, everybody, is the fact that you need to check these claims of what has happened. That's what you do as an investigator. You don't get a phone call and someone says, hey, I think this is what happened. I think this is the. Hey, I'm giving you an inside tip. This happened. And as an investigator, you don't go, he's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. Oh, this person, yeah, they said this. He's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. No. Well, then what the hell of investigation are you doing? Right? It's common sense. If it's plausible, it's important. Like I said, if I have to go to Egypt to dig into a pyramid to find her body, that may not be logical. Okay, let's be honest. But 30 miles away, Rose Canyon Lake, 30 miles away, he's giving you pretty much exactly where you need to look. Guys, it's not that difficult. It really is not that difficult. You know? And I'm not saying that he's 100% right. I'm saying he may think he's right or he may be right. We, the Sheriff's Department, the FBI, any law enforcement agency are never going to know unless they do their job. And whoever's investigating this needs to investigate it. You know? It's like if someone tells you, go to this house and talk to Chucky and ask Chucky what he knows about this. Are you going to say, no, I'm not going to Chucky? Makes no sense. No, you're going to find out why you need to go to Chucky, what Chucky has to play, what his play is, and then you're going to go talk to Chucky and say, hey, let's see. You know, hey, Chucky, what do you know about this? Because if you don't do that, you're not doing your job. You're not following the leads. I guess that's the best way I can put it, everybody. Appreciate all the questions. Thank you, Soren. I appreciate you. I agree with you. Lisa Page, good idea, MJM. Tennessee girls in the house. Do you think they will check? I'm not really sure, Tennessee. I'm not really sure. I would like to hope that they will because as doing investigations in my lifetime in law enforcement, it'd be a no-brainer for me. It'd be a no-brainer. It's not that difficult to check, right? Just about every major city, major police department, sheriff's department, they have dive teams. And if they don't have them on hand, they know where to get them. All they have to do is go down there and check. So do I think I would like to say I hope they will, but look at everything that's happened through the course of this investigation, right? We haven't heard Jack. We haven't heard anything. So anytime something like this comes up of any type, of credibility like this, you have to check it out, or you're not doing your job. It is that simple. It is just that simple. One day, literally, could disprove his theory that he's don't know what the hell he's talking about, or that yes, you know what, he does know what he's talking about. You know, it could either prove it or disprove it. I would like to think that it could prove it, because then Nancy can go back to her family and they can enjoy a life well lived. That's just the bottom line. Good question, Tennessee. No doubt about it. Appreciate that. If you are not a subscriber, I'm telling you, subscribe to this channel. This channel has everybody in here, really is very respectful, and everybody has great ideas. And I'll tell you this, everybody here does their homework. They go and look for information. They might not always know where to go, but they do look for their information. And that says a lot about the individuals in this channel. Okay? That's just how it works. Barb says that's what the tips are for. Why ignore them unless there is something else going on within law enforcement? Check out the tips. Well said, Barb. Well said. No doubt about it. In your career experience, have you seen corruption with FBI sheriffs like he's mentioned? Whew, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Do I think there's have I seen it? I've seen it. I've seen it with the sheriff's departments. I'm not going to tell you which ones. I have seen it with the sheriff's departments. I have personally dealt with it with the sheriff's departments. FBI, I have dealt with the FBI on cases. I can't honestly say that I have ever been done wrong by the FBI. Fact of the matter is, I would say I haven't been done wrong by the FBI. But as far as sheriff's departments go, when you are a sheriff and you have been there, and this is all I'll tell you, and you have been there for 30 plus years, what do you expect is going to happen? You know everybody. Everybody knows you, right? You know everybody. You know, it just happens. And that's why you see things later. You know, I could tell you numerous of sheriffs that have literally paid the ultimate price by being charged or whatnot because they were there too long and they just became part of the problem. It's just a fact. So have I seen it? I have personally seen it in the sheriff's department. I can't honestly say the FBI. I'm sure there's bad apples everywhere, but I haven't seen it with the FBI. Matter of fact, they've always helped me out when I call for their help. But the sheriff's departments, I've seen too much of that. And that's just because they stay in forever. And when they're in there forever, they just really become part of the problem. It just becomes the good old boy network. It becomes the good old boy system, you know. And then it takes a while for people to get tired of it and finally just literally votes him out because it's all a voted position, the sheriff's department. But I appreciate that question. That's a tough one to answer only because, yeah, it's tough, no doubt. Tennessee says, can a diver do it or does it have to be law enforcement? No, it's going to have to be something with law enforcement, Tennessee, because no one's allowed to go swimming in that lake. No one's allowed to go into that lake. No one's allowed, I mean, literally not allowed to go into that lake. You can go fishing and that's all you can do. But law enforcement, if they're following a lead, yes, law enforcement can go to that lake. Yes, they can. FBI, yes, obviously, they can go into the lake. But the average Joe cannot. They cannot go to inside that lake because it's against the law. Now, why is that against the law? I have no idea. Maybe that's where all the bodies are at. I don't know. That I do not know why they have that rule. But yes, law enforcement can go in the lake. FBI, any law enforcement following the lead that started in Pima County and now is dealing here, they can go in there, you know. But your average Joe can't, and that's a fact. It just doesn't work that way. But thank you for that question, Tennessee. Tennessee says, where I live, anybody can get in the lakes. I wonder what makes there so. I don't know what it is, Tennessee. I've never even heard of that, honestly. But this lake, for whatever reasons, no one's allowed to swim in there, dive in there, get in there, period, for whatever reasons. You can fish, and that's it. I don't know why. I don't know if they had tragedies in the past there. I don't know if I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't know. That'd be a good thing to look up, and maybe I'll go ahead and look that up. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, I'm behind. Give me a sec. It's just some really good questions here. Radian, just subscribe. Thank you so much, Radian. Appreciate you. And thank you for the question, Tennessee. At least a good question, Tennessee. Gene, I'll be back in 15 minutes. You got it, Gene. We'll be here. Okay, Jay. Barb, they have to get permission to dive in that lake. My feeling is that Nanos wouldn't let it happen. Well, if the FBI wants to go in the lake and look at this lead, they can go in there. Okay, they can go in there. Nanos cannot stop that. And if Nanos wants to send somebody in there, one of his people, diving team, obviously he can do that. Because it's a lead following a case, right? It's a lead that you got, and you're going to follow that lead wherever it takes you. But if he doesn't allow that, and he doesn't want to go ahead and do that, then yes, I would say wholeheartedly there's an issue there. And it's a very dark issue with this sheriff if he doesn't allow this to happen. Absolutely. Pam says, hello, DD88, just sub with you. Thank you so much, Pam. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. You're going to love the channel, no doubt about it. Click the likes, everybody. Don't forget, click the likes. Let's get that algorithm going. Tennessee says, where I live, anybody can get into the lakes. I don't know, Tennessee. I don't know why they're not allowing it, but that would be something that I'll have to look into as far as research and find out what makes this lake so off limits, if you will. Maybe it's like I said, maybe it was tragedies that had happened there. I don't know. Hi, Renan. Thank you. You got it. Pam, Rose Canyon Lake is a non-boat, non-swimming, fishing only lake. I've been there a few times, and that's all we could do was fish. There you go. There you go, everybody. You heard Pam. Pam lives there in that area. She went there. And I don't know what did they ever say, Pam, what the reasoning behind it was that people couldn't go swimming or couldn't go diving? Did they ever give a reason for that, or that's just the way it's been? That would be interesting to know. Thank you for that information. Appreciate that. Lisa says, glad you are here, Radiance. Absolutely. Been some great questions. The past says, I think one of the best things to do with this individual is to tell them to speak to their therapist about what is happening so that the therapist could guide them. Well, he does. He did talk to a therapist for 14 years, he said. 14 years he talked to a therapist. I don't know what his status is now currently at this moment, but here's the thing. Leads and tips come from all sources. Leads and tips come from all sources. There's not one type of lead that comes in from one person that's different from another. In other words, everybody has a possibility of giving a lead, a good lead. What makes it a good lead is that when it is checked, when that lead is checked out, it's either confirmed or not confirmed, right? It's either said, yes, it's there, or no, it's not. And if it's there, a lot of relief off people's shoulders are off, literally. And if it's not, we're still going back to the drawing board, back to the beginning, because there's something there. Not necessarily at this lead. I'm saying there's something there. We need to find where the leads take you. You got to go wherever the lead takes you, as long as it's not something that's astronomically crazy. That doesn't sound crazy to me. 30 minutes away from Nancy's house? Really? Satanic cults, that's been a going theme here. Not saying that that's what it is. I'm just saying that that's a going theme that we've been hearing about. It's worth a check. I would think it's worth a check. If I was making that call, I guarantee you I'd make that call to go ahead and rake the lake. That's what I would do. Pam says that's the way it's been, and I heard it was because they didn't want chemicals like sunblock lotion and oils from the boats to pollute their lake. Interesting. Okay. Hey, thank you for that information, Pam. Appreciate you. Thank you. Paige says, Richard. Tanya says, weird, but I got a phone call from a 707 area code at 3:19 p.m. today. A 707 area code. Did you look it up to see where that's from? That is interesting. Says Paige, Tanya here. This is borderline taking advantage of someone with mental health issues. Well, explain that, Path. Explain how that's taking advantage of someone's mental health issues. He's the one that came forward. He's the one that brought this claim. He's the one that gave the tip. No one asked him for the tip. No one pushed him for the tip. No one forced him for the tip. He literally gave that tip willingly. So why is that taking advantage of someone who is giving you a tip? I don't understand where the logic there is that is borderline taking advantage of someone with mental health issues. I don't see that at all. I mean, if that was the case, there's a lot of cases that would never be solved. Because there's a lot of people walking on this earth that have mental issues, whether they know it or not, whether they see a therapist or not. They have mental issues. Probably half of this country has mental issues. Just saying. But if you could elaborate that for me, I appreciate it. Because I don't know how that was borderline. Tanya says, right. Lisa says, right. I just subscribed. Thank you, MJM. Appreciate you. Lisa, thank you, MJM. Tanya, I have no idea, but it is California. Ellie just looked up 707. It's in Cali. Interesting. Maybe Mike's trying to call you, Tanya. Woo! Maybe Mike is trying to call you. That sounds creepy. Oh, Tanya says it's Napa area, Napa Valley. What are the odds of that? You got an anonymous 707 call from an area, possibly Napa Valley. Well, where does Mike live? Yeah, Mike Nolette, Napa Valley, everybody. Explain that one. Coincidence again? Are we looking at coincidences? Because that's all we ever talk about. That's all everybody always say. Not we, but that's all you hear when it comes to excuses about leads and whatnot. It's just a coincidence, right? That is interesting, Tanya. I definitely look into that one. Tennessee never explained the good old boy system comment. It's just the more you're in, and I want to use the sheriff's department as an example, the more you are there, the more you just become, everybody knows you, you know everybody, right? And then it gets to a point where you can't really, you kind of overlook things. You look to the side, you look to the side. He didn't really mean that. George is a good guy. Billy's a good guy. Bobby Sue's a good person. You know, that's what I mean. It gets to a point where you're doing no good justice. And I've seen that several times. So that's what I meant by that. But appreciate that. Appreciate that question. Carol's in the house. Hello. What did I miss? It's just been a great conversation, Carol. Welcome, welcome. Soaring Energy, and having the 707 area code means it's an old number. Think about that, everybody. Tanya got a call from 707 area code. 707's in California. 707 seems to be in Napa. Where does Mike live? Mike Nolette, Napa Valley. Interesting. Very interesting. You can't make this stuff up, everybody. Who is right, Tanya? Allie, get this, Santa Rosa, Napa, Vallejo, and Eureka. Weirdo, no doubt, says Allie. Get the weirdo. I agree. I agree. Get the weirdo. Just got to make sure that all these details come to fruition. You have to validate what he has stated, either as a positive or as in he may not be all there. Either or. But everything he has said did make sense. Everything he has said, when you go back and start checking and you become that sleuth that's doing all those checks, you come to find out that, hey, this guy's not really that off because it's all making sense and it's all coming valid. Gene says, I am back. Soaring Energy says 707 Napa, Petaluma, Santa Rosa, Viejo, Guerrero. Yeah, all that good stuff. Gene, I'm back. We have a lake out here that's dangerous for some reason. I think toxic. So you can't go in it. See? And that's understandable. But law enforcement can do that. They have the tools to do that. They have the ability to rate that lake. It's just a fact. But you're right. In some places, for whatever reasons, they are off limits. Whiskey, either they find Nancy or the guy gets mental help he needs. Absolutely. Well said, Whiskey. Well said. It's a win-win. Either they find Nancy or this guy continues to see her shrink and gets more help. I mean, but here's the thing. If they don't check it and Nancy's there, who's going to go to the family and say, well, we just thought it was a crazy idea. Therefore, we didn't check it. I wouldn't be the one that have to do that. Nina's in the house. Good to have you, Nina. Thanks, Allie, for looking it up. Tanya, I was like, what the F? I would have been like that too. Who knows? Maybe he's listening. Who knows? Think about it. Maybe he's listening to this conversation right now. Never know. Maybe it's someone in the chat right now. Ooh. Maybe it's someone in the chat who's pretending to be someone they're not. I'm just saying. Very spooky. I mean, we are talking about what? Satanic rituals? Possibly? Thank you, dog, for explaining the good old boy system to us. You got it paid. No problem. Thank you for the good questions, everybody. Allie Moss, call it back. Amen. Call it back and say, who in the F is this? Maybe that's what you should do, Tanya. Take the bull by the horns. Allie says, no problem. What we are talking about, says Nas. What are we talking about? We're talking about the individual that came out on Sleuth Intuition, a streamer, a couple days ago, and claimed that his brother is the one who is the perp that was in front of Nancy's house. Okay, he's claiming that is his brother, and he's claiming that this was a satanic cult that took her. And before you think it's crazy, go look at the snow moon. Look at what day that happened. Look at when Nancy was taken. Everything checks out February 1st. I mean, I'm just saying. Some people think he's crazy, that he's saying it's his brother. I'm like, it's a lead. Check it out. No harm, no foul. Check it out. Do your job. That's what I'm saying. But thank you for that question. Hope Sleuth don't tell anyone when he's going fishing. Sheriff might be there waiting for him, right? Making sure. I'm sure they're going to be waiting for people to want to try to sneak in there and do a little scuba diving. I don't know why they just don't do it themselves and either eliminate it or come out victorious and become the hero. You know? Give the family some peace. Radiant says, Sleuth did share when he is headed there. Yes, he did. He did. And if you all can help support Sleuth as well, I mean, this stuff is not cheap, everybody. This stuff's not cheap. If you guys can help, that would be great. Help Sleuth out in this situation if you're able to. If you're not, hey, so be it. Hi, Nosy Rosie. Lisa, yes, listening to Dog. We will see if it happens again. Just be careful, Tanya. You never know. You never know. For all we know, like I said, he could saw the live. He could have saw our comments. He could have saw everything that we're talking about. And he could have started looking up people and public record. Usually you can get people's numbers. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And Lisa says, yes, spooky. Tanya says, give me a few. No problem. Tori's in the house. Hey, everyone. Good to have you, Tori. Thank you for being here. Everybody, click that like. If you are not a subscriber, subscribe. I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. This chat is all about common sense, everybody. Common sense is going to direct you in this chat. That's just how it works, at least for me anyway. And everything you're hearing me tell you is just from personal experience that I have experienced in my life working in law enforcement. So take it for whatever it's worth. Nosy Rosie says, but why her? Well, according to when when the Richard Nolette Jr. went ahead and called Sleuth Intuition and asked or told him about this lead, that it was his brother, he said that the reason they did it for, that they were planning this for 6 years. 6 years. And that the reason they did it was because of her faith. Because they wanted to destroy that family because they were so involved and strong in their faith. Now, look, I can tell you straight up, it's not hard to envision that the devil plays games. Okay, it's not hard to think that what they want the most is to shatter families and tear them apart. Okay, these satanic cults, that's just what they do. Okay, no one can sit here and say, "Oh, they're just nice people." Not. Okay, not. So it would make sense when he was saying, he didn't say it was the money, it was this. He said this was a satanic ritual. February the 1st was a snow moon, which is very, if you look it up, it is a satanic day, like almost like offering, giving up offering, or something to that effect. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you exactly what it all means, other than the fact that, yes, yes, that's exactly what's happening. So, if it's true and all of those dynamics are fitting in the puzzle, well, then why not check it out, right? Why not check it out? What's the hurt? But it was done to her because of her faith, is what Richard Nolette Jr. said. That's what he said. It was her faith. I hope that answers that question there, Nosy Rosie. Pay says, like the show, please. Click that like, everybody. Do me that favor. Radiant, supposedly 6-year plan. Yes, he said this was a 6-year plan that they were working on. I mean, this Richard Jr., I'm just going to say Junior, Richard Jr., Nolette, he said that they've been doing, this family has been involved in this satanic deviance, if you will, for a better lack of words, for many decades. I mean, we're not talking about just in the last few years. We're talking decades, going back decades. So he said he grew up in this environment. He said literally that he grew up in this environment, and that's why he has to see a psychologist, a shrink, because it was hard to deal knowing all these things that were coming out. You know what I mean? So, guys, I mean, it does fit the narrative. I'm telling you, it does fit the narrative. And what did they have on February the 7th? 7 days after Nancy was taken, they had this, what was it? This fetish salt, this fetish satanic type of party on February the 7th. Go look it up. They had it. You all remember that. Coincidence? I don't think so. I don't buy coincidence. Because everything in this case has been a damn coincidence. If you talk to some people, they'll tell you it's a coincidence. I'm telling you, there's no way in hell that all these things have happened are a coincidence. It's just not. It's just not a coincidence. No problem, Tori. No problem. Just here listening while multitasking. Sounds good. Thank you for being here. Click that like, everybody. Yeah, Nosy, Rosie, it is very interesting and very complex. And that's why, it's hard to just say no, it's not legit, or yes, it is legit. It's just better to say we checked it out and it didn't pan out, or it did pan out. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to say that and live with yourself than go ahead and not do that and have to live with yourself for not doing what any normal human being in authority would have done, and that is rake that lake. Check it out. It's not going to hurt anything. And when I say rake the lake, I'm talking about law enforcement. I'm talking about the FBI, Pima County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Nano specifically. Nosy Roy says that's horrible. No doubt. Radiant says that is correct. Paige says, what is correct? Radius, please. What is correct, Radius, please? Allie, right. And it's like the neighbors know this. Look, these neighbors, I would say they are just afraid. I can't say I don't know these neighbors. I see their mannerisms. I see how they act sometimes. Some of them. You don't see all of them, but some of them. But I would venture to say it's one of those things where you want to go, I just don't want to get involved. Because then maybe I'll be targeted next. We hear it all the time, right? When there's a crime happens, what happens? When you get talked to a witness, oh, I didn't really see nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see anything. Why? Because they don't want to be a target. But what you have to remember is this is an 84-year-old woman who, by all rights, many people really liked. I didn't know her personally, but many people have stated she was a nice person. No one deserves to go through that. Because you know what? Today it's her, tomorrow it's you. Today is her, tomorrow it's you. How would you like if people just turned their back on you? Like a lot of people seem to be turning their back because they're afraid. I get it. I get it. Retaliation sucks. I get it. But here's the thing. If people don't come together, especially like in their neighborhood, and help one another and be there for one another, someday it is going to be that person and that person and that person. Just a matter of time, right? Just a matter of time. That's just my opinion. I love Grammys and Super Bowls. Radiance, I was watching Sleuth and Richard began writing in the chat before talking to Sleuth. I blocked him as I thought he was playing games. Then I heard him and wow, no doubt. I mean, look, you got to have an open mind. And if it's one thing I learned in law enforcement, you better take everything with a grain of salt and you better take everything serious because it's the one time you don't, that it's the time that you now have egg on your face and you become the problem because you didn't do your job. I don't want to be known for that. I wouldn't want to be known for that. That I could have helped solve this, but because I didn't think it was important or think it was valid, therefore I'm not going to go ahead and follow the lead. That's asinine. That is just asinine, period. No other way about it. Nita Bronx, welcome. I know someone there knows something on that street. There's no doubt, Nina. No doubt. No doubt in my mind. Somebody knows something. Hell, for all we know, somebody could have been staying at one of them Airbnbs or one of them rentals, casing out the joint. We don't know. But what we do know is the only thing we have right now at this moment that we know as not, I'm not talking about law enforcement and I'm not talking about people at the county sheriff's office. I'm talking about just as citizens, people who literally are engaged and involved in this case. All we have is whatever that next lead takes you. That's it. whatever and wherever that next lead takes you. That's all we have. So to anybody to minimize that is crazy. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Not the singer ludicrous. It's just ludicrous. And that's understandable, Nosy Rosie. That's understandable. I get it, but I think they should stay off the street because she's no longer there. Look somewhere else. Well, I think a lot of it has to do, honestly, in my opinion, honestly, is that if everybody leaves, people are afraid the case just dies. And I hate to use that word, but it's the case just goes nowhere, becomes a cold case. So I get it. And look, if my living area, my space was compromised, and I had all these people on my street, yeah, I wouldn't like it. I'd be frustrated. I mean, that's probably why I retired. That's probably why I moved there. But there is a time when you have to look at the greater cause here, at the greater reason on why people are there. Look, no one tells anybody they have to support anybody that's there doing, covering this streamers that are covering Nancy Guthrie. No one says you have to support anybody. So obviously, the idea that people do support people is because they feel an investment in it too. They feel like that could have been their mom, their grandma, their loved one. And so I get what you're saying. I really do. And in some extent, I totally agree. However, if people weren't supporting these streamers, then these streamers wouldn't be there. But because people are supporting the streamers because they're there doing a fine job, as far as I'm concerned, then what's happening is that it's kind of hard to say, just go away. Because not everybody really feels that way, if that makes any sense. Gene, hi everyone. We're a community of free speech. All opinions are welcome with respect. Amen. Well said, Gene. Paige, maybe they want to see who's coming and going. It's very possible. Very possible. Nina says, I think this day on, Annie hired a hitman. Very possible. I mean, you can't dismiss that because just got to look at their financial status, and it's been reported by several other outlets and streamers that they didn't have the greatest financial status, if you will. Soaring energy, you know what will be horrible? Revelation is if Richard is right and Annie and Tommaso weren't involved and they never searched for their mother. That's 100% accurate there, energy. No doubt about it. Ellie Moss, who did? Who did what, Ellie? MJM, and that neighbor of Nancy needs to be checked out. Yeah, right? No doubt. Radiance, Soaring Energy, agree. MJM, yep. Allie, who had a satanic party on the 7th. That was done, I believe, in Tucson, Allie. They was a party that I don't know if you followed the case, but you remember the Gothic, I say the Gothic, the people that were dressing Gothic and black, you know, the lady and the photo guy that was taking all those uh, photo shoots, if you will. And everybody was kind of like, you know, I don't know how else to put it, but they were just, they were gawking or whatever you want to call it. Um, there was, I think, Monk or Sleuth did a thing where those two people were at that fetish satanic gathering that they had. There was also they were able to put people literally who were friends of each other that were there. Okay? The lady in the black shorts, the very tight shorts up her ass, she was friends with, it was reported she was friends with Kayla Day. Kayla Day used to be, as reported, an item with Luke Daly. You follow where I'm going? There's just so much. But when this person put all these things together and was able to show you pictures of what was going on there, and I think it might have been Sleuth or it might have been Monk. It was one of them. They put all these photos that they got from Instagram on these people's Instagram, and they showed you everybody literally that were there at that place. And who was affiliated with who was affiliated with Mojito, Mojito was a disc jockey, who was affiliated with this person. Yeah, it really does make sense. I'll be honest, I didn't think that it was something satanically related, but I do think the people that I have, as far as my people of interest, my top three, I do believe they know those people who are involved. Call me crazy. I just think there's a lot there. It's definitely worth checking out. No doubt about it. At the end of the day. Paige says, I support the streamers 100%. Amen. Radiance, the neighbors need to vent their anger at the cringe that took Nancy, not the people wanting to help. Amen. Well said, Radiance. Gene, there has been more discussions about satanic possibilities. Yes, there has. Tanya, true, Lisa. Trying to go back and catch up, everybody. Victoria Burgess, hello, new here. Good to have you, Victoria. If you are new, subscribe for free. Be a part of this channel. Be a devil pup. We have a lot of devil pups in here. This is a great channel. People respect one another's opinions, and that's what makes it awesome. And this channel is growing. So if you want to hear logic and common sense, just ask everybody who's here. I'm sure they will concur with it. Allie Moss, I just think no one should be there after dark. No, I agree. I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree with you at all. But I think that that's a valid point. That's just a valid point, no doubt. You know, my thing was, if I was there, I would like to think that I would be going maybe 30 minutes, an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and an hour in the evening, and then go out and look around. You know what I mean? I would think that's what I would do. You know, keep my presence known an hour in the morning and then leave, an hour in the afternoon, then leave, maybe mix it up, but an hour and then get out and go look. If you're going to look for Nancy, go look, I mean, that's what makes, riding with Jim so awesome is that he literally, when he comes out, all he does is takes his truck, takes his bike, and he goes searching the desert, turning up every cardboard box there is, anything that she could be under. And kudos to him because he's one of the few that literally gets out there all the time. Just saying. Thank you, Victoria, says Paige. Gerlinda. Thank you, Ura, Semper Fi. Appreciate you, Gerlinda. Thank you. Jeannie. Hi, Danetta. Paige, Semper Fi. Remember what that means, Semper Fi. Always faithful. Always faithful. It's a special, special word in the Marine Corps language. Just letting you know. And I know you already know that, but I'm just reiterating it. It means everything. It's the backbone of the Marine Corps. Let's just say that. Tony, or I'm sorry, I always say Tony. Tanya, Righteous Monkey was out looking for Nancy again today. Righteous Monkey has been out quite a few times, actually. I have seen him out there a few times, quite a few times, actually. And I'm not saying that no one else is looking for Nancy. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying that if I had the ability to be there at this moment, I would like to think that that would be kind of like my modus operandi. You know, go there morning, afternoon, and evening, hour, maybe 45 minutes, half an hour, whatever. Make my presence known, see a little bit, have a little chit chat with the stream, and then go and start pounding the ground and see what we can find. I would like to think that I would be doing that. But, everyone's different. Everyone has different takes. I mean, I'm sure some are afraid of snakes. I'm sure some people are not wanting to be alone, go looking like Jim. He goes out by himself. So, I mean, I get it. We're all different. We're all different, no doubt. And yes, everybody is doing their part just in different ways, no doubt. AJ searched the desert on foot today. Hoorah, Semper Fi. Good job, AJ. Ain't AJ the one that found the little what is it that little cart that people pushed to keep their balance? Old people little cart type deal. I think AJ was the one that found that, didn't he? Victoria Burgess, Lisa, you're welcome. Trice, man, tricep. Am I saying that right? Tricep. I mean, that would be my plan, honestly. That would be my plan. Tracy, I'm sorry, Tracy. That would be my plan. Because then you're not making people feel uncomfortable. You're not getting in people's space, but yet you're also showing that you are there for a purpose and you are dedicated to what you're doing. That's how I would perceive it. Like I said, everybody's different. They all do their own thing. But I'm just saying, I would like to think that that's what I would do. And thank you for that, Tracy. Appreciate that. Carolina Girl, wasn't there a former band member of Tommaso playing at a local venue near the time all of this happened? I think Annie and Tommaso are involved, maybe not directly, but I think they played a part. I agree. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's out of the question, Carol, because I think, honestly, I do think that there is some validity to that claim that somehow they're connected to this. And maybe it's because they don't do any interviews, maybe because their attorneys don't let them do any interviews, maybe because you don't see them looking for Nancy, maybe because I don't know. It just seems kind of weird that they're not out there pounding the ground looking for their mom and or their mother-in-law or whatever. But then again, maybe behind the scenes the FBI is telling them, just keep doing what you're doing because that's what we need you to do. That's the part we don't know, what's going on behind the scenes. Jeannie says, I believe 86 Carol. Jerlinda, Soaring, yes, she's the daughter of the aunt who used to play kidnapping games related to Nancy Guthrie by marriage. And I forgot to answer that question, Caroline. Carolina girl, the Tommaso, they did have a band, and they do have. He had two other band members. Also, were I think they were some. One of them was a teacher, and another one was like a used to be an attorney or something. I could be wrong, but I thought it was something like that. They all played in a band, and I think they were talked to the FBI. We don't know what came out of the conversation, obviously, but I think they were talked to the FBI. Doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot to us because we don't know what was said. Now they didn't clear anybody other than the family, which, once again, I don't know how in the hell you clear the family. You have no idea Tommaso showing up and dropping off Nancy. You have no picture, no video, no nothing. And you have nothing of TC leaving after dropping his mother-in-law off. Either way you look at it, there should have been some type of photo, video, some type of something in that stinking camera. Because they got all these cars going by. They got all these still photos going by. They got people in the front. They got the perp at the front door of Nancy. How can you not get a person who's coming in, dropping off Nancy after their time they had at their house, and then leaving and not seeing the tail lights leave? I just don't know how that's possible. I'm just saying. Tanya said he will be out until they bring her home. He is from the area. Awesome. That is great. Lady Cat is in the house. Hello, hello. Nina, I love Jim. He's a good person. Yes, he is. He is a very good person. Alice says, yes, the walker. Yeah, I think he was the one that found, AJ was the one that found the walker. Paige says, I don't know. AJ just met him today. I don't really know a lot about AJ. I just know that in other lives and other streamers, they had said that he was the one that found that walker. Carol Reed says, I thought it was on the 6th day. I believe it. You're talking about when they had that satanic thing or whatever, the 6th day. Is that what you're talking about? Because if that's what you're talking about, I thought it was on the 7th, but I could be off a day. That is very possible. And if I am, thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it. Girl Linda says that session was disrespectful, and I thought it was like them flaunting something makes you wonder what. Oh yeah, I thought that it was literally mocking someone like Nancy and something that they were able to get away with. You know? So yeah, very disrespectful. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Tanya said the walker belonged to a homeless lady. Okay. Well, at least we know who's it belonged to. Paige, what session? Gerlinda, I'm lost. Tracy, just found your channel. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate you. And thank you for being here. I'm just working on this cipher. Good deal. Let us know what you come up with. To me, it's just a bunch of numbers. I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest. Paige, welcome, Tracy. I thought it was them from the start, but I don't know 100%, but it's my instinct. And you're not far off because I'm sure there is something there. I mean, once again, we come back to the infamous word. It's not a coincidence. It all can't be a coincidence. No doubt about it. It just can't. Because if it's a coincidence, that means everything is a coincidence. And we know that's not true. Yes, that yes, no doubt. Soren said instead of Annie and Tommaso hiding their faces and not searching for Nancy, when they see people at the house keeping Nancy's case in the news, stop for one moment, roll down the window, and say thank you. No doubt about it, energy. Hell, make them coffee. Ask them if they want some donuts. You know? I mean, they're there for your mother and your mother in law. You know? What better way of a thank you by just saying thank you? Or, when they're there in late hours, offering them some coffee. If there's nothing to hide, then why are they making themselves look so, I don't want to say the word guilty, but making themselves look like they have something to do with it? Gene, Devil Dog was former law enforcement and a former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. You got it right, Jeannie. Thank you. Appreciate that. Paige, Gothic girl Kiki knows Kayla Day personally. Yes. Yes, she does know her personally. And you have to know that if LD was with Kayla, then guess what? I'm sure he knew or knew of the photographer guy. 4 people. Just saying. Just saying. MJM, he mentioned the mileage from NG's front door. I think it was like the mileage 360. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't. Shoot. It wasn't. He mentioned the mileage from NG's front door. I think it was three. I don't think it was. Are you saying 36.6? Because it wasn't 366. I think it was more closer to 30 to 36. I thought too the family would have better acknowledged the public rather than running from them or turning their backs. True, very true, Radiance. Now I get it. Maybe some streamers may have not handled it properly. Maybe they'd be rushing up there, hey, talk to me, this and that. So maybe that's a part of it. But still, you still have to acknowledge people that are there trying to find your mother and your mother-in-law. That just goes without saying. That's just courtesy, common courtesy. Tony, Soaring, I feel the same way. It makes them look snobbish and guilty. It does. I can't lie. It really does. Gene says, so agree, Radiance. Paige agrees, Tanya. Allie, yes, 36.6. Yes, thank you for that clarification. It is 30. I know it was 30 to 36, but yeah, that sounds about right. 36.6 from her door. So that's very feasible. That is very, very feasible. We can literally, we can look at that and say, that's not out of the realm, right? She's not very far from her home. The Richard Nolette Jr., said that where she was at gave specific location. I mean, if that's not it's worth checking out, I don't know what is. It's just a no-brainer to me. And yes, the family did ask for the help after all. No doubt about it, Radiance. No doubt about it. Paige says family is pathetic in my opinion. I can understand that. No doubt. I can understand that feeling because, a lot of people are doing a lot of things. And yes, they're getting help too by, their viewers. But a lot of people are doing a lot of things. And the reality is, just a simple thank you goes a long way. No doubt about it. Goes a long way. Just not a good look from family. No doubt about it, Radiance. You're right. Tanya says, I would call him out to their face if I could. Sometimes the greatest disinfection is just honesty, just the truth, just honesty. Call it like you see it. Sometimes that's the greatest disinfection, right? You call it the way you see it. And sometimes when people hear the truth, they really have nothing to say other than they realize, yeah, maybe we have been an ass. Instead, they are running in the night from us, according to Savannah, right? Ali Moss, nothing but respect for all the streamers and YouTubers. I don't know why, but I've kind of peace when they're out searching. Yeah, it is. Well, it says a lot. It really does speak volume. It does speak volume. Lisa says, Tanya, don't play. Marion. Hi, Dee Dee. How's it going, Marion? Good to have you. Thank you for being here. Carol Reed. Allie, have you pulled up the map and found the connection of the pentagram? No. No, I haven't. No, not haven't. Not really big on the pentagram. Not big on that stuff. But yeah, no, I haven't, to be honest. I know if I was in that situation, I would want, I, I would have went, I'm sorry, to all the streamers for help and the Cajun Navy and what other help I could get. The Cajun Navy was free. Absolutely. Absolutely. The idea that you had to get a permit to search is ridiculous. Now, I do see the fact that you always want to make sure that if people are going to be searching, that other people know they're searching so that way they don't get lost out there, right? The desert is a bad place to get lost. But in the same token, I think they just went about it really bad and really wrong when they made it seem like they didn't want anybody's help. You know, that doesn't go well with the public. It just doesn't. Especially when you're not producing any information, right? It's just common sense. Pay said, dog said Tony laughing out loud. Yeah, I know it's Tanya. My bad. My mom would have been Nancy's age. It really makes my ass burn how they all are acting. I agree. I totally agree. Honestly, I think I would have been one of the neighbors that said, "Please come park in my driveway. Would you like some water?" No doubt about it. I mean, the idea that you're treating the people like like horrible. I don't know what other word to use that's nice, but you're treating the people that are trying to help locate this woman or at least try to find clues so that other people, FBI, aka sheriff's office or whatnot, could find where Nancy's at. The idea that you would treat them less than is beyond me. It's beyond me. No, you're good. I don't even look at caps. That don't bother me at all. Yeah, no doubt. JLR or Alice, can't remember which, said Cameron flipped them off coming out of the driveway. Yeah, I know there's anger, there's frustration, there's a lot of things. But once again, I think the family also has to understand that those people that are there are just there to help, you know, and I think the people that are there need to understand that not everybody likes the camera. Not everybody wants to be on the camera. Not everybody wants to have that conversation. And you do have to respect that as well. No doubt about it. All good, Allie. No doubt about it. Radiance. Yes, a lot of flipping off was going on by both family and neighbors. It just defeats the purpose, really, in all honesty. It really does. It just sets a bad tone for everybody. Paige said, I recommended this channel on AJ Live earlier today. Thank you so much. All of you, if you can, when you're on somebody's stream, put out that channel, put our channel out there. I'm telling you, it's taking off. Our numbers have been climbing big time, and I'll try to give you guys a report how many we've gotten in the last maybe 2 weeks, how our channel has been growing, so you guys have an idea. But it has been growing. I'm telling you, leaps and bounds. So, just keep up the great work and keep doing what you guys do, because this channel is not, it's just not, I can give you information, but it's just not me giving you information. It's all of you guys that are doing your own work, trying to figure out yourselves, and then bringing all those ideas into the chat and trying to figure out what really makes sense, right? That's what it's all about. It's a team effort. Tanya, no, I didn't hear that, Gene. Nosy Rosie says there are no clues in that neighborhood, though. True. Very well could be. Radiance. At AJ Search today, I missed your pointer to the channel. Glad I ran across it tonight. Awesome. So glad you're here, Radiance. Appreciate you. Dontel, has anyone ever heard of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Funny you say that. I have brought that up the other day. I have brought that up the other day. Not with you guys in my home, with my wife. I had brought that up. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know what the heck we were talking about, but I had brought it up, and yes, that is funny. Yes, Donetta, I just didn't see that movie. We investigate and they search. That's it. That's how it works. If you are searching, you're going to be like Jim. If you are reporting, you're going to be a lot of like what they're doing out at Nancy's. And if you're just trying to make sense of everything and try to give an honest perspective, this is what you're going to get on this channel. That's just all I can tell you. Maryland, Marianne, I'm starting to wonder how big of a blank cult there is there. Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Gerlinda, it's huge. The cult, I mean, it's everywhere. It's huge, but it's huge there. A lot of that is going on. No doubt about it. Carolina Girl, I just came across your page today. Like and subscribe. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you, Carolina Girl. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I heard that about JRL. Gene says, I heard that about JRL, but I like to think folks can turn around. He's even going to church. I believe he's trying. Gene says, thank you, Carolina Girl. Paige, I've made big mistakes in the past, and I'm grateful for forgiveness every day. Amen, Paige. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. No doubt about it. Paige says, not everyone will forgive people. Yeah, but you know what? Everybody, no one is perfect but God Himself. So, as far as I'm concerned, Gene just put out my email. Gene has just put out my email. If you guys get something that comes up, something that's important, something that someone comes up missing in your area, something that you just want to elaborate on, there's my email. Take it down. And if you got anything, shoot me an email, please. It's not just JLR that's it's an ex convict though. Yeah, I know. I understand, Nosy Rosie. I get it. I get it. I stay in my lane because the reality is that yeah, I get how you feel. Just you know what? Just whatever comes your mind. Everybody has their opinion, and everybody's welcome here in the channel with their opinion. No doubt about it. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate you all. Pace, Pace says, I'm an ex-convict, Nosy. We all have our faults, everybody. Let's get back focused to Nancy. Back focused to Nancy. No doubt. No doubt. Well said, Gerlinda. Nosy Rosie says, but Jesus will. Amen. No doubt. No doubt about it. He's the only one. He's the only one I heard so far that don't watch too many 857 Tucson and a few others. Paige, I am responsible, productive member of society now, proudly, all thanks to God. Amen. Well said, Paige. Well said. God is great, no doubt about it. Victoria Burgess, I agree. Bring Nancy home, says Paige. Who are we to judge? Nobody. Nobody. Gerlinda, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Amen. Well said. Well said. Well said. Soaring, YouTube didn't like your sentence. Oh, Lord. He says, I don't know why. It's not judging. I was simply saying that I would not feel safe with them around my neighborhood day in and day out. Hey, that's understandable. That is totally understandable. So let's get back to Nancy. So, are you guys all going to watch Sleuth Intuition? I would recommend watching it. And if you have time, you might want to go ahead and watch his first encounter with Richard Nolet Jr. You might want to watch the first one so you can get an idea of where he's going. Because I don't know what he's going to say on the second one, but it'll give you a kind of an insight as to. And look at the when you look at somebody and you listen to somebody, listen to the details. Listen to the details are very important because it's the little integral things when you're investigating and you look at the little details That's when you start to realize this person is so precise, so I mean, he delivers what he's saying so precise. I'm talking about the details that you can't make those details up. You can make a lot of things up, but when people start getting into the weeds and talking about the details, that speaks volume. And always remember that. So if you get a chance, watch it. Watch the first one, and be prepared tomorrow to go over it and see what's going on. Those folks out there were in a quiet neighborhood. They weren't ready for everything that went on. No doubt about it. It's all a give and take, everybody. Yeah, no doubt, Radiance. Definitely gonna need coffee, caffeine, or something. I think I just bought the wife a 48 box of coffee, Starbucks. The little pods. So I definitely have enough coffee. He did, Marianne. He has some really great details. And when a person starts talking to you, when they question somebody, when law enforcement questions somebody, and they tell you, and they ask you a question, and you give them an answer, a basic, plain answer, that's one thing. But when a person goes off and starts to give you all these integral details of the answer itself, I'm telling you, that's what investigators look for. That's what they look for, along with all the other clues and signs that you pick up because you've been doing your job for a while. Richard was hesitant and anxious about what he was saying. Believable, no doubt. I think so. I believe that if he wasn't telling the truth, in his mind, it was the truth. That's what I believe. But I do believe because of his answers being so detailed, there is a reason why that lake needs to be raked. Literally. They need to go in there and they need to literally rake the lake. Look it up, send your divers in there, go to where he's telling you, and see what happens. It's either yay, a family's going to celebrate, a life well lived, or this guy is old news. It's just that simple. It really is. Don't forget to make sure your time zones are correct. Gene just put it up there with all the time zones. If you live in those time zones, yeah. And I'm like the furthest, so we're gonna be definitely anybody in Ohio is gonna be 11 o'clock p.m. Wow. I can't tell you the last time I stayed up till 11 p.m. Carolina girl says the guy was very convincing for sure. Looking forward to Sloot's next live to see where it goes. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, I heard a lot of people, I'm not going to lie, I heard a lot of streamers that they're not buying it. And that's okay. That's okay. But I'm here telling you, as in law enforcement, that is literally a lead you need to check out. Literally. Pima County Sheriff's Office, FBI, and anybody else in a law enforcement capacity, you need to check that lead. If at worst case scenario, you're able to literally get it out of the picture or make it the emphasis of what you discover. Who knows? You may be able to solve multiple cases. Gene says, I won't be able to sleep. Yikes. It is good. I think it's going to be interesting. No doubt about it. Gene says, I have a relative that's into Wiccan. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can tell you a story, but not on here. Yeah, please. No. I want to be, when I do go to sleep, I want to be able to go to sleep. Soaring Energy, the interview room is going to talk about congressman who Savannah called, what part he played in the situation. Now, I'm not sure really what the big hoopla is with. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but I don't understand what the big hoopla is with Mark Kelly, Savannah calling him. They know each other, they're friends. I don't know. I just don't think like there's any there. Like that would be something that I would go, oh God, there's nothing there, man. In my opinion. But hey, to each their own, right? To each their own. Mary Ann says, Dee Dee, you've been a former LE. Do you believe him? I believe, Mary Ann, I believe that either he's telling the truth or that he believes in his mind that he's telling the truth, if that makes sense to you. So if someone like him came to me and gave me that lead, I would be checking that lead. That's the best way to answer that. You follow me? If someone gave me that lead, if he came up to me and said, Dee Dee, and we had that conversation, and I was the one making that decision, I'd be like, we're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's get this over with. Let's find out if she's there or she's not there. Because here's the thing, everybody. What else are we doing? What else do we have to go on? And everything he said really did all seem to pan out, just like Sleuth said. When he fact checked a lot of that stuff, it all panned out. So, I mean, when it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, talks like a duck, you might get lucky and it just may be a duck or a pheasant or something else. Gene, Allie, it's tonight. Was supposed to be last night. Yeah, I was bummed out when it wasn't last night, but here we are today. It's tonight because he and Richard were going fishing. Awesome. Please like and subscribe, says Paige. Everybody, if you are not a member, become a member. Don't forget to click the likes and click those little emojis. Set that algorithm so that algorithm gets getting out there and it puts our channel out there. And also, don't be afraid to bring it up on your other lives. I'm telling you, I know you guys aren't, but I don't think, honestly, this is just my opinion. I don't think you've heard too many streamers chats like what you're hearing today, what you've been hearing on this channel. I really don't, because I listen to a lot of people and I'm not hearing. The ones that come close to what I'm hearing are people who are prior FBI, prior law enforcement, prior, stuff like that. But for the most part, and when I listen to them, they're regurgitating the same thing I'm saying. That's why I continue to do what I'm doing, because I know we're all in that same ballpark. You know, that's how I justify what I'm saying. I see and I draw back on my history, and then I look and I see other people in the same type of field that I was once in, and I see them saying the same thing, and that speaks volume. That just speaks volume. And yeah, I'll pat myself on the back. Marianne says, yes, thank you. Coffee, I have to work at 4:30 a.m. Oh, my Lord. Take your headphones. Oh my Lord. 4:30 a.m. That is early. Oh Lord mercy. That's going to be a tough one. Just whatever you do, don't fall asleep going to work. Jerlinda. Marianne, yes, I understand. Thank you. Gene, yep, I have to be up at 4 a.m. for work. Oh, Lord. Also, do not fall asleep, Gene. Get to work safely. Allie says, no work Friday, so that would have been better, but I'll live. No doubt. No doubt. Good idea, Dee Dee, says Gene. No doubt. 4 12-hour shifts, Allie. Jeez. That's a lot, 12-hour shifts. That's an ass kicker, no doubt about it. Allie says, all right, we are in this together, Gene, laughing out loud. 10 hours and countdown. Dollar day week. 4 10s. That's another tough one. The weekly. The wee Kelly. Radiance. If Richard arrives tonight, if Richard airs tonight, I think if Richard airs tonight, I think Sleuth will have a corner on the viewing tonight. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Hey, whatever it takes to find some clues, whatever it takes to find clues to get people to look and search in the right places to get this thing resolved. Hey, I don't care who gets, you know, the corner of the market, if you will. The reality is, it's all about this 84-year-old lady getting back to her family so they can have peace at the end of the day, in my opinion. And maybe that's the law enforcement speaking out in me, but hey, that's how I see it. Soaring Energy says, I feel like the Nanos and Kelly is possible cover up connection. It could be, Soren Kelly. It could be. I mean, honestly, it could be. I don't think, but it could be. Very well could be. No doubt. Allie says, thanks, dog. I'll be good. All right. Just do not fall asleep going to work. Gene, oh yeah, Radiance. Diddy, I agree. You make a lot of sense to me and why I subscribe. Thank you so much, Radiance. I appreciate that. I'm just going what I learned in my past experience in law enforcement. I'm just drawing from that. I never thought I'd be doing this. Honestly, I never thought it. I would be like on a live and kind of sharing the knowledge and stuff. I thought once I called it quits. Once I kind of just said it's I'm done. I thought it was done, and then here I am. And I appreciate all the great comments from all of you, all the great questions from all of you, because you guys have some really good questions, some really great questions. And yeah, it's awesome to be able to be a mouthpiece to be able to give you guys at least a little bit of what I know. I was. Yes, Victoria Burgess. Yes. Yes, I was. I spent almost 20 years in law enforcement. Almost. And loved it. Loved it. I loved it. It was great. And I held many positions. Um, and yeah, so it's like I always tell my wife, if I die today, I lived a good life. I am happy for everything that I've accomplished in my life. Literally. That's just how I roll. No regrets. Amen. All right, everybody. Anybody got anything else? Do we have we heard? Have we watching any other streamers? Anything new coming out of JLR or Alex or Tucson or uh, Monkey or I'm not sure what Righteous Monkey? Anything new you guys are hearing or nothing new? You got it, Victoria. You got it. Appreciate you. Paige says, always be grateful no matter what. Amen. Tanya says, we salute you, DD. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate all your kind words, everybody. No doubt. No doubt. Victoria says, I don't see anyone. Well, there you go. Well, you're at the right place now. So don't go nowhere because you're going to enjoy everybody's company, everybody's conversations, everybody's comments. You're going to really enjoy it. No doubt in my mind. Thank you, dog and chat. Hoorah. Simplify, everybody. No doubt. Marianne, thank you for your service, DD. You bet. It was my honor to serve. Make no mistake. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Gene says, amen, everyone. Salute to DD. Grateful for your service. Amen. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate you. I enjoy the chat says Radiance because you all are not acknowledging Richard. Amen. Amen. I just think that let what does he have to gain? I mean, let's ask that question real quick. What does he have to gain? What does literally Richard have to gain? If it's attention, that can be gone really quick by them going ahead and searching the lake, right? So if it's attention, it's short lived, right? Right? It's short lived if it's attention, especially if he's not telling the truth. So what has he really got to gain? That's the question right there. I don't see him having anything to gain. So it's one of those where you go, the man has nothing to gain. And if he wanted attention, he got it for a day, maybe 2 days at most. But now he's old news if he's not telling the truth. So for us, yes, this is so crucial that the FBI and Piedmont County Sheriff's Office, somebody in law enforcement, needs to literally go and check out the lake, Rose Canyon Lake. They need to check it and see what is in there. And maybe more than we ever thought. It could be a dumping ground. We don't know. But we sure could find out pretty quick and at least eliminate that to the side. Right? I mean, it's common sense. Radiant says, that's right. He has actually relieved sleuth listened. Amen. No doubt. No doubt. Great for him coming forward. There you go. Gene just posted an email again. Everybody, make sure you got that down. Nosy Rosie, the Richard story makes more sense than anything else I have heard so far. I mean, there's a lot there, everybody. There is a lot there. It's to me, it's just a no-brainer. But I, it's just a no-brainer to me. Gerlinda says, I think he puts himself in jeopardy. Well, the lady that called him and asked him about what his thoughts were about what his brother had said didn't really do the brother, Richard Jr., didn't do him any justice. I mean, yeah, I don't think that was a smart move at all. And I think that just shows you sometimes people don't think of what they're doing. They think, oh, well, I'll get a hold of him and just ask, not understanding what are the repercussions, right? I mean, yeah, it just boggles the mind. Yeah, no doubt, Tanya, especially since some lady called him, his brother, and told him what Richard was saying. No doubt. I mean, that was definitely not appropriate in my opinion. Just my opinion. And I'll even go as far as to say that was very, very um, that just was very wrong to do. You could have put you might have put him in harm's way. God only knows. But here's the thing: we'll know tonight what he has to say. And like I said, remember before we leave on this chat, remember, listen to the little details. Don't focus on the big stuff. I mean, listen to the big stuff, but focus on the details. The details will tell you whether he's being specific, whether he's being pointed directly at what he's trying to convey to you. Remember that. It is crucial. All right. All right, everybody. I think we had a great chat today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate all of you. If you're not a member, become a member and pass that on to your followers, your subscribers, your friends. Pass that on to everybody you know. Let's get this channel to the top where it needs to be. And like I said, everything, everybody, everything is common sense. Everything. Just got to use it. God bless you all. See you tomorrow morning, and we'll go ahead and cover Sleuth Intuition's interview with Richard Nolet Jr. Amen, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great day, and drive safely to work.